Hey everybody, welcome. Good morning, and I'm so happy that you're here for the ultimate guide to self-love. Um, if you want to participate in the live chat, I'd love to, continue to have a conversation with you throughout. All you have to do is hit subscribe. When you subscribe, it'll open up the chat function for you, and then we can have an exchange while we go here. So hit the subscribe button. While you're at it, hit the notification button. I go live from time to time, and I present new videos all the time, both in sound healing and self-love. Know yourself, heal yourself, love yourself. Right? That's what I do. My name's Nick. I'm the Mystic Next Door. And really, I help you to know yourself, heal yourself, and love yourself like never before. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and we'll get started here with the ultimate guide to self-love. So today, you're going to discover many things. First and foremost, why self-love is the single biggest factor that dictates your happiness, your success, and your abundance in life. And you're going to hear it from me, right? So I have a unique perspective on this. I'm one of the most highly trained and experienced energy healing practitioners in the USA. And I have over 15 years of experience as a healing practitioner and as a coach. I'm certified in a lot of modalities, a lot of different things that I've done over the years. And really, over that 25 years of study and practice in spirituality and personal development, I have taught hundreds and hundreds of people techniques to heal themselves naturally from illness, anxiety, depression, all sorts of things. So as I mentioned, you're going to learn why self-love is the number one biggest factor that dictates your happiness, your success, and your fulfillment in life. There's nothing that approaches the healing power and the amazing ability of self-love to change your entire life. I'm going to show you a simple 5-part framework to start loving yourself today, like not tomorrow or some other time. And I'm also going to talk about some of the most common lies that you've been told, that we've all been told about self-love and the real costs of self-doubt, that inner critic, and that criticism in our lives. So you're also going to learn the single most important step to start loving yourself and creating lasting change. I'm going to show you a priceless hack that will instantly boost your confidence and shift your energy, and how you can have self-love beyond your imagination truly for the rest of your life. So at the end of this, I'm going to be making an offer. It's a one-of-a-kind course. It's the most comprehensive guide to self-love that you'll ever find. And whether or not you get this offer, you're going to get tremendous value from this workshop. So stick around every step of the way. I'm really happy that you're here, and you'll know when it's right for you, okay? This is different because this webinar is different from other ones that you might have seen in the past, because it gives you the exact blueprint for self-love. You're going to be guided step by step through the entire process. And that means that you're going to leave this training 100% able to restore a healthy relationship with yourself and start loving yourself today. And if you're already on the journey of self-love, you're going to be getting some new and advanced knowledge to help you have even more freedom and joy in your life. So let's talk about this for a second. Look, we've all seen people who talk a great game. They talk about how important their goals are. They talk about all the things that they're going to do, but somehow they always come up with an excuse. And time and again, nothing changes. It's kind of painful to watch. But you're here right now because you're the sort of person who shows up for themselves. You're willing to invest your time and your effort and your energy and even your money to achieve your goals, which in this case, we're talking about self-love today. And that's something that other people always seem to find an excuse to avoid. So the big problem that we see is that people are not taught how to love themselves. It's just not a conversation, especially if you're from my generation, Generation X. This is something that, or before that, right? It's just not something that was talked about. And you might find yourself seeking approval or seeking permission from outside yourself. And you find that kind of endless void inside. It never seems full. And the problem is that if you don't learn how to love yourself, there's always going to be inner conflict and self-doubt. A lot of people just accept this as the way it is, right? But what happens is it robs you of peace and joy, no matter how good your life is. And so you're in the right place right now. And just let me know in the chat which one of these sounds like you. You want to love yourself more. You want to have a better relationship with yourself. You want to fix your relationship with yourself. You often find yourself worrying about what other people are going to think, that comparison thing, right? Whether you're going to be good enough, you're second guessing yourself, you're beating yourself up. You want to be more confident and certain in yourself. And you love to be free, to be who you are, to do what you want without fear and judgment. But you find that there's something stopping you from creating that level of self-love and acceptance that you want. Now, if you answered yes to any of those questions, you are absolutely in the right place. Any of them. You don't have to have all of them or check all the boxes. Even one of those will really add a lot of stress and trauma to life as we move through it. I want to talk to you real briefly about how I learned to love myself. This will help you have a little bit of context for where I come from on this. I was a career freelance musician, and I had a ton of stage fright, right? Performance anxiety, right? Insecurity just shut me down. And that's what actually started me on the path of personal development way back in the day when there weren't, a ton of books on this sort of thing. Certainly nothing on self-love, but things like Psycho-Cybernetics, and other books like The Inner Game of Tennis. I didn't play tennis, but it was really, really helpful to have resources about the inner game. They just weren't widely available. So it made it painful because really what it did, and maybe you can relate to this in some way, is that it took something that I loved. I love making music, right? You can see the gongs behind me and the singing bowls on the wall back there. Like, I love making music, but it just sucked the joy and the fun out of that in ways that I can't really even describe fully. And it prevented me really from expressing my full potential in that arena at the time. So at the lowest point of that, I was wanting to make changes in my life. I just saw this pattern play out again and again. I was abusing drugs and alcohol. I was binge watching for weeks on end. My music career is completely stalled, and I just had so much shame and guilt and self-punishment, and I could not connect to any future for myself that didn't involve constantly struggling with all of those things and being disappointed with where I was. I just couldn't see anything other than that. But what I discovered through that process is that, because I did eventually get myself off that couch, but I found that pushing myself, right, to optimize my potential, to be more productive, right, it led me to burn out really fast. And it didn't change how I felt about myself deep inside. I also found that self-care was great and really helpful, but it didn't always make a lasting change. And sometimes, if you're somebody like me who can maybe get into some distractification from time to time, or some procrastination, then that self-care became a distraction from doing the things that I really needed to do to move my life and my goals forward. And so that left me feeling kind of, it just didn't work right? And I found that spiritual and practices and meditation were really helpful, but it didn't help me connect with my inner power. It was always something out there that I was trying to get. And self-love, if it's about nothing else, is really just about developing a healthy relationship with yourself. So when that really landed for me, that when it wasn't about all those other things, I found that my life started to change in ways that I couldn't imagine. When I stopped trying to fix myself, it opened up a door to all kinds of possibilities. So, I wasn't stuffing my emotions and pretending like they didn't exist. I wasn't trying to talk myself out of what I was feeling. I wasn't getting caught up in all those things and letting them take control over my life. I wasn't constantly trying to fix my thinking and ignoring the dialogue in my head or trying to fix it and change it. The noise in my head and all that chatter and all that criticism, it dropped dramatically. it's a gift that still blows me away of how quiet it can actually be inside. And it was just a huge sigh of relief. I finally had permission to be exactly who I am, exactly where I am, and as I am, even if I hadn't achieved all my goals, all my life goals just yet. And that's a really important piece of this we'll talk about later. So many ways I could go on and on about this. You see me there with Kisma. She is my life partner. We work in transformation together. She's really just a bright spot in my world. I can't say enough good things about her. I'm so grateful to have her in my life, but I'd never be able to have a woman like that in my life if I was still struggling and fighting against myself. And self-love helped me to bring music back into my life in a really meaningful way. That's what you see with the singing bowls and mystic sound healing. That would never exist without self-love. And so it is your turn right now, right? It's your turn. Today is your day. I want to show you how to start loving yourself right now. It's the most important things. And the first thing that we want to talk about is some of the lies that we've been told. Okay, let's just get it out there. The stories that the world has told us that we've bought into, right? Or that somehow just kind of, even though we know better, right? Somewhere in you probably know better, quote unquote, know better. But you find that those stories kind of hang out in the back of your head, right? Number one, loving yourself is selfish. Hey, listen, we all know better. You've heard the opposite of that, right? It's really important to love yourself. It's really important to love yourself. But somehow that story hangs out. And and what it does is it changes our identity and it puts us back into those old patterns. And the stories, some of the stories, these are just a few examples of how that gets entrenched, right? You have to take time and energy and attention away from others, people who are relying on you. And if you do that, you're a bad mom, you're a bad partner, you're a lazy employee, you're never going to make it. Because your value is determined by what you do for others. Love is an unlimited resource. Unlimited. Let that sit with you for a moment. Love is an unlimited resource. The more you master the art of loving yourself, the better able you are to love and care for others. It is as simple as that. We have a hard time buying or really landing in that truth because of all the stories and the conditioning that we've received along the way. But you are inherently valuable exactly as you are. The world won't tell you that. The world will place value on what you do, on what you can produce. The truth of the truth is that you are inherently valuable exactly as you are. Another great lie I hear, just an epic one all the time. I'll love myself when, right? I hit my goal weight, I find the right partner, I follow through on my commitments, right? I'll finally love myself if I could just stop procrastinating. When I achieve my goals, when I finally start that passion business that I've been thinking about forever, then I'll feel really good about myself. Then we might be able to love ourselves. I'll love myself when, right? But what that causes is that you push yourself to be more and achieve more, trying to be the best you, and you're still caught in that never enoughness. You're caught in that endless loop, which inevitably leads to frustration and burnout. Anybody been there, right? Go ahead and put a Y in the chat if you've been there before. I know I have, more times than I care to admit. You wind up selling yourself short. This is the opposite end of the spectrum. I'll love myself when. So you sell yourself short. You play smaller and smaller to avoid letting yourself down. But what does that do? What's the price of that? Well, the price of that is huge because it decreases your energy and your capacity. You keep negotiating yourself down, down, down into a smaller and smaller container. Something that's reasonable, that won't upset the apple cart too much there. It lowers your energetic resilience and vitality. And it becomes, this is the saddest part, is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because in trying to avoid disappointment, you abandon your real dreams, the things that are true in your heart, for something smaller. And so no wonder when it feels unfulfilling. You finally get there, you achieve your small goals, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of cool. It doesn't light up your soul, right? Number 3, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I love myself. This is a sneaky one that actually creeps in ways that are not always obvious, right? It doesn't matter so long as I'm a good person, right? I'll do the good things, right? And then it's fine, right? No one can see my hidden thoughts and feelings, so it's not really important as long as I just show up and get the job done, right? That leads to mechanical living. Self-criticism is how I improve myself to do better. Ooh, that one I hear a lot. Well, if I just love myself, I'll stop trying. I won't push myself anymore. I'll get complacent. Not if you're doing it right. And that suffering and sacrifice is how I show that I care. That's a sneaky one too. It doesn't always show up like in those kinds of words, these things. That one in particular shows up more in patterns. So it's really helpful to unwind those deeper layers, right? That's why we need to unwind the deeper layers. This is the truth. And this is something I really, if you take away nothing from this workshop today, it's this. You are the center of every experience in your life. It's all you. Your inner dialogue doesn't take a break. Low self-worth, guilt, shame, lack of connection. They're some of the biggest underlying causes of substance abuse and addiction. And you'll never feel really connected to someone else and have a healthy and supporting relationship if you don't already have that with yourself. It's uncomfortable sometimes to be in our own skin. Self-love changes everything. Takes away that escapism, right? Living for the weekend, alcohol and substance abuse, eating issues and disorders, binge watching TV, endless scrolling, right? Obsession with news and media. Self-love is the single biggest factor that will dictate your happiness, your success, and your fulfillment in life, period, right? Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many accomplishments you achieve. No matter how much love other people shower on you, no matter how many accomplishments you achieve, and I have worked and continue to work with some really successful people, if you don't believe, and I mean really believe, that you are worthy of success and happiness and joy, none of it will matter. You'll find a way to squash it. You'll throw a wet blanket on the whole thing. You'll never give yourself a chance to really enjoy it before you're on to the next thing. And somehow, some way, you'll just feel like you never quite got there. It's endless. So how do we actually do this? Right? This is the most important part, is what do we actually do about this? And that's why, let me bounce over here into the chat real first. Okay, Pamela went the distance. All right, good job. I know it's not always easy. It must have been hard for you to finally make your way here. I'm so happy that you're here. Grateful for the session. Gen Xer, almost feel like I have been conditioned to believe that self-love is selfish. Yeah, totally. I'm with you there. Taking me almost 40 years to realize that it could not be further from the truth. Yeah, exactly. So what we want to talk about right now is the 5 foundations of self-love. The 5 foundations of self-love. And I'm going to roll through them here and explain to you what they are, and then we can continue from there. Foundation 1, self-respect. Love doesn't exist without respect. It's helpful to look at these foundations in the context of your other relationships as well. Look, as you relate to yourself, that's exactly how you're going to relate to other people. You're going to play out some sort of pattern or role in the same way. You might play one role or the other, depending, but inside of yourself, it's all happening. So look, you've all been in a relationship where the other person doesn't respect you. Work relationship, intimate relationship, whatever it is. Love doesn't exist from that place. They're just words. The trouble with self-respect is that you've seen yourself at your very worst. right? You've lived inside of yourself your whole life. So you've been front and center for every failure, every bad choice, right? All those things. You've suffered the guilt and the shame and the self-disappointment that comes along with those things. So self-respect is the first foundation of self-love, because that is the prerequisite. We're not talking about love right now. We're talking about respect. Okay? And when that is not there, it doesn't allow healing to occur. Second foundation of self-love, self-care. Self-care is 100% necessary in order for health and well-being. If you don't take care of yourself, sooner or later, it's all going to shut down. You'll hit a brick wall. That's what burnout looks like when your mental, emotional, and physical care is not well taken care of. You keep pushing towards a goal, and then that's it, right? Like you push towards that goal until you can't. Self-care was neglected the entire step of the way. It was only paid lip service, right? Again, we don't want to be that person. And I know you're not that person who's just like constantly paying lip service and never doing anything about it, right? You're here because you're doing something about it. The tricky part with self-care is that it can be really confusing and even contradictory, because you are not the same every day. You're not a machine. You have different needs from day to day. So having a great self-care practice and knowing how to navigate that with ease, right? That just doesn't become another big, long to-do list that you never get to and then you feel bad about, is super important. Knowing how to care for yourself. There's 6 areas of your life that need care and maintenance. And if they're physical, mental, emotional, your finances, your relationships, and your spiritual practice. All of them. And if even one of those takes a big hit, or kind of lags with the others, it's going to take that wheel and make it kind of like a flat tire, you know? So it's really important to have a comprehensive, simple, and intuitive practice of self-care. And in order to even get that to work, you have to give yourself permission to do that. So that brings us to the third foundation here, which is self-acceptance. So this is what this is really is about, is the healing part of it. It's reconciling the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Quote unquote, and learning how to love all of it. If you went through the peace treaty, you probably discovered that there's a reconciliation that happens there that helps us to have a better conversation. Love and wholeness creates incredibly profound healing and transformation and freedom. Incredibly powerful. And that brings us to self-trust. This is the fourth foundation. When trust is broken, what it does is it shakes the relationship to the core. You may have been in a relationship where you thought everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, bam, like massive betrayal. And how painful that was. And how many things about yourself and your life that calls into question. Well, it doesn't always have to be the biggest self-betrayal in the world. In fact, in self-love, in our relationship with ourselves, how this normally plays out is through little things, little agreements that we break with ourselves every single day. We keep saying the thing and then we don't follow through. We say we're going to get up at a certain time and then we hit the snooze button again and again, and it erodes self-trust. And what that does is that's the crack that doubt and insecurity start to wedge into and pry open. It makes it harder to land in our decisions and feel really confident about it. When things start to go sideways, it sets up that freeze, right? Freeze, try to control everything response, trying to figure everything out before we feel safe taking another step again. Why? Because doubt and insecurity take over to rule, and that's not okay, right? And it also diminishes, by the way, self-trust when you don't have a lot of self-trust. Operating with your intuition with real confidence and clarity, very difficult, because there's always that nagging voice in the back of the head. Well, yeah, but what if? Well, maybe not. Taking confident, clear action, right? That is what self-trust is all about. It opens up all kinds of doors of opportunities that we would have never seen before. And the last one here is one that people often just totally ignore in this conversation. It's self-actualization. This is the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And truthfully, it's one of the driving forces of your life, right? That's growth and expansion. And when this fundamental need is ignored, you stagnate. And this is the place where people get pretty good, right? You'll land at, okay, good enough, kind of okay, fine. And there's that pull inside of you, inside of your heart or inside of your gut, or just that feeling that there's something more. There must be something more. Boredom can set in, that kind of mechanical thing. Or we get to a certain phase in life and it's just like, well, I guess I'll just start winding down now. And keeping life in your years, like this is the key. If you want a long, healthy, vibrant, fun, and enjoyable life, self-actualization is a huge key, right? It's the fifth foundation of self-love. So the most important step here is when you move from self-conscious to self-aware, all right? It's recognizing that we tend to identify with all the different aspects of ourselves except the true self. You have emotions. You are not your emotions. You have lots of thoughts. You're not your thoughts. You have beliefs, but you're not your beliefs. You have a career, but you're not your work. And you have relationships, but you're not those relationships. But when you identify with those, and we've all been there, those things hijack you and they take over. And when they're taken away, say when you lose a job unexpectedly, or your kids move out of the house, all of a sudden it calls into question your identity. And you're like, what was I doing anyway? Who am I now? Because this is about returning to perfection. And before we take one step further, this is something that you ought to know about me, is that I believe that you're already perfect. And that this work isn't about fixing you. It's about returning to the amazing, beautiful, perfected, divine spark that you already are. In essence, it's about getting out of our own way and being who we were born to be. Your birthright is not suffering and chaos. Your birthright is joy, love, fulfillment, dynamic, amazing action, and doing awesome things with your life. So, one of the most powerful exercises I want to share with you today is connecting with your full potential. This is an instant one that shifts everything. We covered this in a week of self-love, and we're going to do it here again briefly and in a little bit different way. So what you're going to do, let's check in here. Yes, you are worthy of love, abundance, and happiness. Yes, you are. That's awesome, Susanna. So what we're going to do here is sit comfortably. Take a nice deep breath. Slow down your breath a little bit and let yourself land in your body. Notice if you feel any kind of resistance there, uncomfortability. And don't try to change it. Just let it be. Exactly as you are, exactly as it is, and take another breath. And then imagine for yourself that you're in a peaceful place. Could be your favorite place from childhood. It could be a mountain with a sunset or a sunrise. It could be a field, a lake, a waterfall. Let yourself land in that place. The sights, the sounds. Feel that sense of peace not just wash over you, but penetrate deep into your cells. You can feel that love and appreciation starting to flow naturally. And now, imagine that there's a figure coming forward towards you. Light, a shape, a color, a version of you that is in your absolute fullest potential. More peaceful, more kind, more patient, more powerful, more strong, more resilient, more vibrant, more healthy, more loving and kind. I think I said those, but I'll say them again. More forgiving. Walking easy and free. See those qualities. See the way that figure moves. The way that you shine, the glow around it. And let that figure come in nice and close to you. And as you share space together, you can feel that love and appreciation start to flow more freely all the way through you. You can see how that aspect of you in your full potential shows up differently in the world. The way that you make choices, the way that you step in, your confidence, all of it. The way that you take action, the way that you commit to yourself. The way that you show up for yourself, the way that you show up for other people. All of it. That's all there for you anytime you want. And I encourage you to open your eyes gently, and if you have a notepad, is write down a few of those qualities. So that you can reconnect with that, right? And you can continue to play that out. A couple things that you ought to know about your full potential self is, number one, it's already there for you. It's always there for you. You're never, ever without your full potential self. Okay, the technical term is a hyperspatial counterpart, but it's always there. Forget about all that. It's your best self, okay? Second is that it's not just your imagination. Your imagination is more powerful than you could ever believe, but you're not making that up out of thin air. Your imagination is able to come up with that because those qualities already exist inside of you. Not somewhere out there, something that you have to work for, prove yourself for, right? Or earn. Those qualities that you see as you saw them, that is your birthright. That's already there inside of you. It's powerful and it's beautiful, and it's there for you anytime you want. That's a tool that you can use and come back to again and again to reconnect with that part of yourself. And that's really what this workshop is about today, is about you taking action, right? To be in that, to bring that forward into your life. Self-love, in my mind, is never about just nice ideas, things that sound pretty cool, theoretically make sense. And, maybe one day, this is about you living it out in your life, in your head and in your heart, every day. So let's go back here and recap, okay, briefly what we've covered here. First, we all know that self-love is the number one single biggest factor that dictates your happiness and your success and your fulfillment in life. And you know why now. You know why. And if you stop and think about it, you can retrace your steps and recognize that, oh yeah, my relationship with myself is the lens that colors every experience that I have in my life. Right? You got some of the most common lies that you've been told, maybe you've been told, about self-love, but more importantly, the real cost of that self-doubt and criticism in our lives. And it undercuts us every step of the way. And you learned how to connect with your full potential self anytime, anywhere, right? That's what the 5 foundations, that's what the full potential self exercise is for. You know how to do that now. That's yours. It's up to you to use it, right? To take action. But you're the sort of person who takes action and does this, right? Your full potential self certainly is. So we stay in that. That's the part of you that you want to be coming from. And you learn the 5 foundations of self-love. Respect, care, acceptance, trust, and self-actualization. All those 5 foundations come together and you have unshakable confidence in self-love. Even one of them starts to fall apart and everything gets a little bit shaky. Even one of them, right? And that's why all 5 are really important. So that's what we've covered so far. If there are things coming up for you, that's what the chat is for. All you have to do, if you're watching this on YouTube, is just subscribe to the channel and that'll open up the chat for you. I'd love to hear if you have any questions or shares about that. Because right now, you might be wondering, well, okay, this is awesome. And where do we go from here, right? What do we do now? Because we have the world. And if you don't want to go live in a cave, if you want to participate in life with your family and your friends and do great work and really participate fully in your life, we have to deal with the world. The world and all of its time crunches and its worry and its stress, crisis after crisis, drama after drama, the risks, right, of being alive or walking out our front doors, the troubles that we come into, the limitations that either we place on ourselves or that the world tries to project onto us, the problems that we encounter and the anxiety of the world. It's always there. Because that's what the world is. This isn't about changing the world. This is about changing you. And I guarantee, as you come into alignment with your perfected self, the world that you see and experience changes along with it. One of the biggest problems, though, is that you're inside the jar, right? So you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. You can't always know what you don't know, right? Creating instant shifts and breakthroughs is actually not that hard. Sustaining that over a longer period of time, little different story. Because the world that we talked about, right, that depends on you being a certain way, the way that you are, and doesn't want you to change necessarily, because that changes how other people change. And that makes people uncomfortable. And there may be parts of yourself that you're just not sure that you want to change because that's pretty uncomfortable too. That's okay. And we can deal with that. Because information does not equal transformation. Maybe you've heard this saying before. 100% true. All the teachings and practices, all the teachings in the world, they aren't going to actually, and knowledge, right, is not going to change anything. We have access to the information age. You can leave this video right now and go out on YouTube and learn how to do like just about anything. And if that's not enough, you can go Google it, right? Which is video. Anyway, I won't get into that, what these things are. But we have access to basically infinite information for anything. And we have more stress and anxiety in the world, more mental illness and challenges than ever before. And it's not getting better. If information were the answer, then we'd have all these problems solved, because it's not hard to find. And truth be told, loving yourself is not that complicated. The reason that people fail at it and struggle with it is not because they don't know, it's because they don't have the support and the guidance, the teachings and the tools in order to stay the path and really see it through. So I want to share with you the formula for radical transformation and lasting change, right? Knowledge, tools, guidance, community. And you've got a choice right now about whether you step into that. Choice number one, take what you've learned and apply it all yourself. You can certainly do this. And one of the major challenges in overcoming this is needing to do everything yourself. That's a really common thing. Well, if I didn't do it all myself, if I didn't figure it out all on my own, then it doesn't count. But that's the problem, because you're already doing it all yourself and doing too much and depleting yourself. Spinning your wheels. Choice number two, the inspired choice, in my humble opinion, is to let me help you. Learn, and not just learn, but master self-love in your life. So as I mentioned before, this is how we do that. It's called In Self-Love. It is your step-by-step guide to taking your worth seriously, reclaiming your confidence, and truly becoming your own best friend. And what it is 5 modules of transformational training that really gets to the heart of inner conflict and self-sabotage, and it heals it, helps you to heal it at the root. So you're going to be guided step by step to lay a lasting foundation of ever-increasing self-love for the rest of your life. There's tools to heal and release destructive patterns and programs, even if you've struggled with self-sabotage and limiting beliefs your whole life, which, by the way, you wouldn't be alone in that, and to increase your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and your well-being without spending endless hours in self-care and spinning your wheels and all that. So here's how it works. 5 modules of deep training, and we're going to start a live session soon, 6 weeks of live weekly coaching sessions with me. So we'll get on Zoom, and we'll recap the content for the week, the foundation, which will all be, by the way, 100% available to you immediately, right? So you dive into that right away, and then you bring your experiences and your questions to those live coaching sessions, and we'll talk about it. As you can see, I've worked with a ton of people. I have a lot of experience at this. My insight is it's been really helpful for a lot of people, and I know it will be helpful for you. Module 1, self-respect. How to have honest and loving conversation about deep-rooted traumas, patterns, and things that really slow down and throw a wet blanket on your life, and to do that for good. Look, embracing self-respect enables you to make bold, heart-centered decisions that honor your values and your goals, not everybody else's, yours, right? Leading to a vibrant, fulfilling life that is aligned with your inner truth. Transforms relationships in amazing ways, right? Because this deals with the boundary setting aspects of it and really being who you are. And it also helps you attract people into your life who are on board with that, right? So fantastic relationships are so much easier. Module 2 is how to navigate your self-care in all those 6 areas of your life that we mentioned, and how to make it more simple and fun than you thought possible. As we mentioned, right, it's a constant evolution. You change every day. Your needs change every day. So knowing how yourself to give you exactly what you need in every moment, that's an art. Flexible and compassionate self-care fuels your body and your mind with boundless energy. And it's amazing. And it's so much more simple than you think. And I'll show you exactly how. Module 3 is really about accessing the most powerful healing energies on earth, known to man, right? And loving yourself into wholeness for lasting transformation in your life. See how they build on one another. Self-respect sets those boundaries. It sets the rules of the game. And it immediately starts to open up a new sense of empowerment and freedom in your life. Self-care helps you to be more resilient so that you're showing up more. You have the energy, the vitality, and the presence to really show up for yourself more fully, so that this healing can start to unfold in a much more powerful and natural way. Module 3 is where we access that through self-acceptance. Module 4 is about trust, but there's 2 aspects of this. This is a really big module because it deals with your decision making, which we all know people who make clear decisions, confident decisions, those are the people who really make amazing strides in their life fast. And even when things don't work out for the best, in that moment, they are the people who always have the self-trust to step back in and again and again and again and not get caught in that endless doubt. And self-trust helps us to open up our intuition with real clarity. And I know a lot of people that talk about like, oh, I'm so intuitive, and then they sit there and ignore their intuition. They don't have the real commitment to follow through on it, and they make up excuses of like, oh, well, my intuition said so, but I guess now is not the time, or my intuition said to wait. No, it didn't. Your intuition exists now for you, and it shows you exactly what you need right here, right now. We only just have to be willing to listen to it and not make up excuses around it. So that real sense of clarity is important. And then, of course, Module 5 is about self-actualization. This is one of the most fun ones because this is about uncovering hidden gifts and talents and getting to own them with confidence, getting to own aspects of yourself like in amazing ways and explore so much fun things. That's how I got back into music, right? Self-love, really, truly, like Mystic Sound Healing wouldn't exist without that. What I found was utilizing those gifts and talents, like, and really cleaning up some of the old stories about, oh, well, I'm not that creative, or I'm not, like, I don't know how to just make something up, because I was a classical and chamber performer. That was the kind of music that I played. It was all written on the page. And turns out none of that was true. I can actually create something really wonderful and fun and healing for people, and I do that every single day. Right? So I want that for you. I want you to be tapping into your gifts and talents. So In Self-Love is a one-of-a-kind program, right? It's a simple framework, and it's going to get even more simple. In-depth healing for root problems. It's supportive and loving, and motivated community. People in it are awesome, and it's everything that you need for lasting change. So you're going to become your own best friend, your own biggest supporter. You're going to become confident, clear, free more than anything, to be you, to express yourself, and to shape your life in any way that you want. So you can imagine freeing yourself from destructive thoughts, maybe negative patterns, being at peace with yourself. No more pressure to prove yourself or be something different. And you can imagine being able to speak your mind freely, without all the fear of what people are going to say or think, and express your needs without guilt or shame. You're going to see more happiness. You're going to see more creative energy. You're going to see more love and appreciation with yourself. So the course itself, the retail is $2,000. You're getting 6 coaching calls with me. That's $1,200. So that's $3,200 value. You're definitely not going to pay that, right? As a thank you for being here and showing up for you. I believe it's really important to honor that. And you'll see me in my different offers do that again and again, is really honor the people who show up, the people like you who are committed to taking action and continuing to show up. So you're not paying that full. You're going to get it for only $497. There's a one-time payment plan. If you need a payment plan, break it down into 2 payments. Hey, no problem. All you have to do is go to nickhansinger.com/love yourself. Simple as that. And you'll see the page there. Click the link. You'll go through to the order form, select your payment option, fill in your details. You're done, right? You're in, and we are rolling. You're going to get started right away, right today. And I've got a few cool things that I think you're really going to enjoy. First is the self-love healing journeys. These are for Mystic Sound Healing. So they have singing bowls on them, and they're guided journeys for releasing specifically guilt and shame, for connecting with your heart, embodying the essence of love, for releasing self-doubt and worry and anxiety and fear. I call that disabling the worry machine, and for self-forgiveness and more. And I add to those as we go, right? As we discover different meditations and different journeys that we can take, that continues to expand. And I've got this other bonus. Oh, this is one of the favorites. People love this one, and I'm really happy with it. And it's so cool. It's called the Daily Mystics Messages for Self-Love. So your daily self-love messages. So it's 60 days of daily messages that come to you in your email. You can opt in for text this time around, which is something I haven't offered before. And you'll be able to click on a link and go and listen to an audio, a 2 to 4 minute audio that gives you a real lift for today. It'll provide a different insight or something kind of fun that helps you to look at yourself and to look at the world differently and to look at how you're showing up, right? So this is for the people who are like really on a time crunch and just need that quick something that they can tap into and keep tapping into. Click the link and it's right there, right? It's right there for you. So they're one of my favorite parts about it. People have really loved it. They're great journal prompts. They are wonderful for touch points, right? So that you stay on your track. They're super supportive along the way. I also have a whole library of resources that you're going to have access to. There's a really great PDF in there called 7 Daily Questions for Self-Love that can be done first thing in the morning to set the stage for your day. It can be done before you go to bed so that you can clean the slate before you before you go to sleep. But this is also where bonus trainings appear. Things that maybe don't appear in the 5 foundations directly, specific topical things that are really useful for people, right? And they usually come from questions that came up on the coaching calls. So that's self-love and difficult family dynamics. 6 kinds of rest you didn't know you needed. There's a bunch more up in there. And it's always expanding because it's based on you. Which day are the live coaching sessions? Worried about schedule conflict? Well, those are a bonus, right? So those happen. There's a schedule you'll see on the order form that has all the dates for it. And that's important. I'm really glad that you asked that because, look, do your best to show up for them, but they're a bonus. Everything that you need is in the core curriculum. And if you happen to not be able to make a live session, all you have to do is send me a message beforehand and say, hey, here's what's going on. And I'll address it on the call for you to watch on the recording. Or if it's kind of outside of that, I'll just make a separate video just for you. So really simple. The core curriculum has everything that you need. And don't let the schedule or that part of it be a stopping point for you. Let yourself have the gift of really stepping in and showing up as you can. And I guarantee you're going to get exactly what you need. Okay, there's never going to be a better time. So especially now, and I'm going to explain that in a second. So nickhansinger.com, love yourself, $497 or 2 payments of $299. So you'll get all the bonuses. You're saving a ton of money. And there's an option on the form if you want some personal healing sessions, which might be a really nice option, for somebody that, really wants some personal time. You can get a couple extra healing sessions. They call them the self-love healing sessions. There's, I think, only 2 spots remaining last I looked. And one more thing, you're actually going to get my complete Reset Your Energy in 90 Seconds training. This is basically like survival skills for the modern hectic life. I'm very experienced in energy healing and practices, and this is the go-to things that I use, and I teach everybody, all my clients, how to use these things. It's life-saving for people who are empathic or sensitive to other people's energies, and it's really one of the best, most efficient hygiene systems that you can find anywhere. So today's the day because tomorrow the price is doubling. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and the week of self-love leading up to this and us having this time right now, I've been thinking about doubling the price for over a year, and I wanted to go one last time through this and really offer it at this $497 price point, but I'm doubling it to more accurately reflect the value of the program, the true value of the program, which is extraordinary. Right? Even if you miss it and you come in at the full price or the new price, right? $997, no problem. It's still way more than worth it. But hey, if you're in for yourself, I'm happy to reward that action, and you can still get this for half off for $497, which is already a huge savings. So a couple different contexts, right? Self-love for creativity. I'm a creative person. I love talking and teaching about creativity. Lovelina is an artist, right? She's experiencing a lot of doubt, as many artists do. Creative blocks, right? Getting stuck in her head, right? And her husband was not always the most supportive. It's a nice hobby kind of thing. But for her, this course, it helped her be more creative. It helped her to really tap into her creativity in a different way, so that she has that constantly flowing, right? She has a thriving business. She's expanding all the time. Her work is absolutely beautiful. And her husband even helps her at shows and events. I got to meet him recently, and it was awesome. Access to the module is lifetime. Yes, access to everything is for life. Access to all the content is for life. You'll have access to all that, including your recordings of the live sessions. In business, this is one that I hear more and more. I saw a meme by Gary Vaynerchuk the other day talking about self-love. I was like, go Gary, you get it, man. That's awesome. This is really important. One of the things that Philip was running into was just he wasn't separating his work and his home life very well. And his passion projects, things that really fuel him outside of that, were getting kind of dusty, right? A little neglected there. So what this work helped him to do is to set clear boundaries for work and home that made him more effective at work and happier every day. And he released an album as a result of that. And I know that he's got more work on the way, and it's just awesome. So look, after all that, I really want for you to feel amazing stepping in. And I want you to know that I stand behind my work. So you have a full 30 days to test out the course. If you don't love it, all you have to do is let me know, send me an email, and I'll refund you. I'll probably ask you, I want you to know, heads up, I will probably ask you, hey, what was it that didn't resonate with you, or tell me a little bit more. And that's just for me, right? I'm not going to argue. I'm not here to argue with you or talk to you about anything, right? I respect your decision, and that's okay. So you'll even get to keep all of the bonuses. You keep all the bonuses, and I'll refund all your money. So that's it. There's absolutely no risk to you. nickhansinger.com. Love yourself. So you've got your step-by-step way in. You're getting all of these bonuses, right? A lot of these things you can't buy anywhere else. Certainly buy anywhere else except from me, but you can't even get them outside of this. And it's an amazing value that's 100% guaranteed. So thank you. Thank you for showing up for you. I appreciate you. Thank you for participating. I trust that you've learned a lot about self-love today. And I've given you a framework and a context to put this in. And now, if you want help putting that into action in your life, if you want support to stay the course, if you want the tools that are going to help you to stay on that track every day, all you have to do is sign up. That's it. One-time payment plan, $497. 2 payments at $299. nickhansinger.com/love yourself. So let's see if we have any other questions here. Answered that one. Access to all the online content is forever. Really encourage you to go through. So that you understand this moving forward. I'll even track you a little bit forward through this. So you've enrolled, right? You click the link, you filled out the order form, you're all set up, you go through this. We've got our live session set up for this coming June, right? So it's starting pretty soon, in a couple weeks. So you've got a little bit of time to get started before that, and you go through all of it, and you can continue to go through and tap back into it again and again and again. People find that really helpful. Just go on in and pick a lesson and click a link, and it always seems to be exactly what they need. And the next time that I run a live cohort, if you've taken it before and participated in the live sessions, there is a nominal retake fee. So it's nominal, and all it really is a payment, is an investment in the live coaching sessions. It helps me to hold that container, right? But it's a nominal fee this time around. It's a couple $100. So you can do that, or you can not do that and just have lifetime access for it and go through it this time. Simple as that. Just signed up. Hey, that's awesome. Past week of 5 days of self-love taught me so much. Cannot wait to tell you how many times. I already used the lightsaber strategy, cut the cord. That is awesome. what you're going to find in the How to Reset Your Energy in 90 Seconds training. If you love that tool, I highly encourage you to go check out that training because it does teach cord cutting, but it also teaches a really beautiful breathing technique that is incredibly powerful, and it teaches you how to get grounded. And what that course really does is teach you those 3 things in succession to shift your energy in 90 seconds. And it is incredibly powerful. So I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that you signed up, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. So go ahead and check that out. And for anybody else, nickhansinger.com/love yourself, and get in today because the price is doubling tomorrow. All right. Any other questions? I'll give a moment here. I don't see anything coming through. nickhansinger.com/love yourself. If you do have a question, you know where to find me. I'm in the Facebook group. You've got emails from me in your inbox, or you can just make a comment here and I'll see it. Send me a message on YouTube, wherever you find me, and then we can take it from there, right? I'll answer whatever questions you have, anything that I didn't answer here. Late to the party. Hey, Vanessa. Well, skip back to the beginning and check it out. The information, especially here at the end, is a little time sensitive. So you're going to want to go back and check it out today, right? So that's okay that you're late. You should be able to scroll back and get to it. All right, gang. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much. Congratulations to those of you signing up. I'm so happy to really dive into this work with you together. And I can't wait. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon. Peace.